Their previous matches at this stage, including 3-1 at home in the first leg of this tie last week. If they don't win tonight, they'll become the first ever team to play at least 5 matches at this stage without a win. But they pushed hard last week, and they arrive here with nothing to lose and an historic achievement to gain. The first serve of the second leg of this quarterfinal tie in the CEV Champions League Volley 2023 underway through Britt Bongart's. Big kick down the line, far side, tandem attack, straight against the blocker. Close proximity here to gain, they can't find a way through. Stuttgart, they'll keep on coming, and they'll get the first score through Crystal Rivers. So they hold serve with the first point to send an early message. She took so many attack hits in the first leg last week, Rivers. Look at this, back-to-back points to start for Stuttgart. There's always a huge psychological element involved with sport, but when you're the favourites, you win the first leg away from home. It's certainly easy to lose focus in such a commanding position, feeling like almost it's an inevitability that you'll progress. That's what Stuttgart are hoping to play on tonight. They will come here fully focused, knowing they just have to leave it all on the court and see where it takes them. Stoney off the mark with her serve. So a 2-point advantage again. Remember, Stuttgart, the far better serving team through the course of the season. Well, that's a simple hit for a player of Anna Danetzi's ability. Pure power, close proximity. She's averaging 10.2 points per match, the middle blocker in this campaign. Joust over the top, and good for the 2-point lead again for Stuttgart. They've made a positive start. Timmerman the takeoff. The 24-year-old Dutch middle blocker is averaging 10.5 points. Doing anything that Anna Danetzi can do. Pushed over the first line of defense. Really good defense from Stuttgart. At least until the fault. But they're very lively, very energetic, and certainly here with confidence, the Germans. And they're back up by 2. They should be here with confidence. They're top of the German league with a 17-1 record this season. They've won their pool stage group for the first time in this competition. They played hard every set in the first leg of this tie last week. It's a young up-and-coming team, plenty of young players, the majority of whom are 26 years of age or younger. Big backcourt hit, even bigger block. How about that from Mary Schertzel? Coming down the pipe with power, but not able to explode. Kenya Karkas says shut down. A 3-point lead for the Germans here, playing really well in the early exchanges, tipped over the top of the double block far side. And again, pancake move to try and keep it alive, but to no avail. As Britt Bongart's got down to it. Over at Caracourt, walks away. Rather relieved that they finally got one to stick. Long off the block, safe baseline. This time just driven down on the diagonal. A really impressive start from Stuttgart that continues, shows no signs of letting up. The right-hand hammer from Laura Kunzler. They've got Crystal Rivers, who's been at the club since 2018, and Simone Lee, who starred in last season's double-winning success. They've added Kunzler this season, signed after she won the best outside hitter honours in the Bundesliga last season. So they've had young players mature, and they've added an extra prong to their attack. Novara hoping to find their offensive rhythm, close the gap to one. Hop and a skip and a score. Christina Kirikella, no doubt a Novara legend. She's been at the club since 2014. Helped them win their first ever Champions League trophy in 2019, their first ever Italian title in 2017. 3 Italian Cups as well. And on the international scene, part of the Italy side that won last year's Nations League and the 2021 Euros. Same move, different outcome. Right hand hit towards the baseline. They're wondering, Stuttgart, if this should be their score. Crystal Rivers, let's have a look. It's through their hands of Carcasses. I'm not sure it touches either of them. That's the call from the officials. No challenge. Oh, looking for some payback. Carcasses with pinpoint precision to the back corner. Look at the distance that travels with power and precision. Only briefly back level though, before Kirikella was off the mark with her serve. There she goes again. The distance back to the corner once more. Close to a carbon copy of a right-hand cracker from Carcasses. She's Novara's top-scoring outside hitter in this campaign. 11 points per match, 47% spike success rate. A couple of quick scores here, and the blocks working well for Novara as well now. From a couple down, they have the lead. Deborah Caracourt, such a weapon on offense and defense. The combination of mobility, length and skill. Hard to believe she's only recently turned 23. Already a 2-time winner of this competition, a 2-time Club World Champion as well. With Vakif Bank from 2017 to 2019, Caracourt. To separate these two through the opening 20 points then. Wow, she really has found her rhythm. Kenya Carcasses. 3 in quick succession. That time dropped shorter after the 2 to the back corner. Now her chance on serve. Very close to the baseline. Well, she set her radar right from the start in this one. And you almost expect that to be in because of how good she's been, and I think it was. She's had a trifecta of terrific hits, and now I think the perfect serve. It's coming off the back of her 24-point performance in the first leg, in which she hit 62% of her spikes. Look at that. Look at that. She has been perfect. Kenya Carcasses, the 37-year-old Cuban. That was looking perfect as well, but repelled from the baseline. But the fact that the serve drove them back, the reception wasn't bad, but it allowed the blockers time to get into position and telegraph the attack. And from there, they built a wall. The combination of Karacourt and Tedeschi. And that will force a timeout on the Stuttgart bench. Well, they had a slow start, but now they've caught fire, and they've done so quickly here in the first. Cold and then red hot. And she has been the spark to light the fire. The run on serve comes to an end. But a 3-point lead now for Novara. And they're across the midway point of the first set. It's going to be challenged again. She's adamant, and perhaps rightly so, that she can't do anything wrong right now. And that one was just wide of the mark. Understandable that she was feeling like she couldn't miss the form she's shown in the early exchanges of this first set. So 3 the deficit for Stuttgart. They made a positive start and got blown away by Kenya Carcasses. The lead is back to 4. Lovely set across, shifting the defense to find the holes. Karacourt, oh, she adjusted it beautifully. Capable of the physicality and the finesse, Sebra Karacourt. back of the timeout, they get one to land out of bounds. Off the blocker from Crystal Rivers. Since signing in 2018 for Stuttgart, Rivers has led the club to their first 2 league titles, first double and the first European final last season. She was the Bundesliga MVP in 2020 and 2019. So much weight of expectation rests on her shoulders. Take the point off opponent error that time. Karakourt into the net. And the blockers in position as well. Somehow Novara survive. Joust over the top, and they get the point as well, thanks to Bossetti. Timing, force of will, pushing her opponent down to the deck and pushing the ball over the net. For the lead for Novara in this first set. Have a look. We're not seeing the pictures while they look at it. I'm sure we'll see them afterwards. 2 challenges previously in this set have been to see if the ball was in or out. This time it's that joust over the top of the net. Caterina Bossetti doesn't look too disheartened by it. Part of Italy's World Cup winning side as a teenager all the way back in 2011, and then took another 11 years to claim her next major gold at last year's Nations League. She's averaging 8.3 points per match in this season's competition. Still waiting to find out if she's got one here. Kenya Carcasses has 5 points. No touch is the call. I was just going to say, Carcasses 5 points to lead all scorers. Nobody else has more than 2. But Bossetti has that one. No net touch. No conclusive evidence to say there was to overrule the initial call on the court. And a point for Novara and a serve for Ebru Karakourt. Twice named best server in the Turkish League, as well as in the Turkish Cup and the Super Cup. And showing just why. Game face on Ebru Karakourt. A ferocious serve. Can she reproduce? Yes, she can! A Karakourt carbon copy. A pair of aces from one of Novara's top players. And the Italians are running away with this first set now, up by 6. Oh, Kunzler walking off the court. Karakourt. Twisting set. Hit off the outside of the block and no, just out of bounds. And Stuttgart seem to be out of chances in this first set. Hit the antenna. Mary Schertzel. It appears there's another challenge in progress. Stuttgart are clinging to straws right now. Novara, since their slow touch, have just gone to gear 5 straight away. down a couple of points early. Then came that run. Straight away they opened up the big advantage. Carrecourt and Carcassonne absolutely superb. Carrecourt now has 4 points off the back of those two aces, one behind Carcassonne as the top scorer. Setti has a couple of points. Novara wait to find out if they do have this lead. It smiles all round though. They're playing comfortably and confidently. No net touch again. The call's not going in Stuttgart's favour. Novara playing it to perfection after that early 2-point deficit. Just checking back to see. It was a 6-8 score in Stuttgart's favour. Lead got all the way to 14-10. So it was an 8-2 run. Completely turned the tide of this first set. Stuttgart not giving up hope just yet, closing the gap to 5. To bounce off the right arm of Battistoni. Down the line, did it find a piece of the defense? No, it didn't. Stuttgart celebrating. Novara weren't sure. Does this get a touch of the defender or not? Oh no, it certainly doesn't. The timeout required to try and stop this run now that Stuttgart are on. 3 straight points for them. And close the gap to 4. Still a healthy position for Novara to be in, but Stefano Lavarini doesn't want to get any less healthy. To try and take their opponent off serve. Good defense to keep it alive for Stuttgart. And an even better attack hit. Defense saving the rally, and then what followed was a sumptuous strike. Right to the sideline from Simone Lee, the American. That's why she was the best outside hitter in the Bundesliga last season. Here comes Carrecourt down the line from the backcourt, flying and finishing. That stops the rot. To Stuttgart to close the gap to 3. There's a 7-point lead for Novara, cut to 3 on a 4-point unanswered run. And now Carrecourt has officially killed off the comeback. Back-to-back scores for her again for the second time. This time in open play after the pair of aces. And Novara back in a commanding position. It's going to land in a bare portion of the backcourt. Stuttgart will hope to cling in this first set. Down 4, but Novara only 3 points away from winning it. Stuttgart have the challenge of trying to win a break point here on serve. Barbara Vetzorka in to try and do just that. 29-year-old German signed this season. Karakor down the pipe, that spells trouble. They survive it. Stuttgart, but for how long? Got to dig their heels in on defense now. Not for very long at all. If Karakor doesn't get you, Kiri Keller might. Lovely back set. Tremendous body control from Kiri Keller. Not so much on the landing. Did the part that mattered perfectly. Well, they've got a whole handful of set points, a little bit more as well. Danesi in the way. Showing why she's the only player to average more than a block per set in this season's Champions League. A matter of time for Novara. Quite appropriate if Carcasses was the player to finish the job. It doesn't really matter who, they're queuing up. They've got too many offensive weapons. Back to Stoney with the final blow. Putting it on a plate for Danesi. From there, she could hardly miss. Isolated one-on-one with Timmerman. Nevra Karakor ending up as the top scorer in the first set with 7 to 25 points. After Carcasses had started the scoring with 5 early. And Danesi finished with 4. The top 3 scorers all wearing Novara blue. Stuttgart trying to stay alive then, here in the Champions League. Hoping to become the first German team to go past the quarterfinals in the modern era. And they've really got it all to do. The mountain has got steeper. And they've put the first foot on climbing that trek to the top with that big point from Crystal Rivers. But they started the first set just as well. Up 8-6, and then Novara caught fire. No early 2-point lead in this one, and the serve into the net. Karakor to cross court, stopped. They'll go again, set, close proximity. Taking heads off and taking points. Their attacking has been superb. And Danesi with another 5 points for her. Buried underneath the body of the defense that time from Rivers. 3-meter line takeoff. Stuttgart able to get level at 2. Need their best service to really step up here, though. Karakort adjusting the shot again. She's a scoring machine. 4th top scorer in the competition this season, 21.9 points per match. 48% spike success rate. She's scored 20 plus in 6 of her 7 appearances. Well on course to get there again here tonight. Here she comes again. And tags one more to her tally. 9 for Karakort. And we're only at the early stages of the second set. So the early 2-point lead in this set was for the home team, now cut in half by the errant serve. Maria Segura, the Spanish captain of the Germans, spent 5 of the previous 6 seasons playing in Italy before she arrived in Stuttgart in 2020. She will face many of these Novara players in that time. Karakort, doesn't matter if you've watched all the videos, read all the scouting reports on Ebru Karakort, she will find a way to finish. It's one thing knowing what she's going to do, it's another thing stopping it. So 2 the lead for Novara again, 10 the tally for Karakort already. She's on serve. Pair of aces back in the first set, but she won't get another go here in the second just yet. Stuttgart survived that particular scare. Zorka came in towards the end of the first set to serve one. Does so again here towards the start of the second set. Ball hands out of bounds. Stuttgart to level, 5-5. She'll remain on serve. Little blocker to try and reproduce, trusted with her serving ability. Long back set. They're appealing for it, Stuttgart. Now the long pass allowed time for the defense to telegraph, to get across and to make what they feel is a telling intervention. They're saying it touched the contorted body of Christina Kirikella on its way down, and they've got the answer they wanted. So Stuttgart from 2 down have the lead. But the run on serve for Vetzorka comes to an end. Rossetti up next. Long reception, but perfectly placed in the end, right on top of the net. Big hit, knocking bodies down on the baseline. Can they set here? Karakort, they got it to their primary option, still no way through. Set comes near side, 2 blockers in the way. Had to be pushed back over now. Novara really on top, looking to generate the score here for Carcassonne, and they did. After her early burst, she's back in business. Rossetti with the save. Carcassonne with the score. Bouncing off the block. And an ace as well. Well, Stuttgart arrived here with serve meant to be their big advantage. But Novara are turning the tables. Bossetti, the boss on the baseline this time. caught a piece of the block. Rivers getting the points, trying to keep Stuttgart close. 6 points so far. She's their top scorer. Can't do anything on serve though. Christina Kirikala. Good serve reception. Better defense. Far side. Carcassez one-on-one with the shutdown. Got right up, penetrating the net. Over the top of Schertzel. There's a challenge in progress. As it stands, Novara up by 3. Looking for a significant bit of breathing room in this second set. Again, they looked for a net touch twice in the first set, Stuttgart, and didn't get the answer they wanted. I hope it's third time lucky in that regard. Again, we don't get the luxury of seeing the images until the decision is made. The point remains with Novara. Pinball on the Stuttgart side of the floor. Now they're at the mercy of all of those big hitters. Carcassez stopped in the backcourt. It'll come back from Rivers. Carcourt, all of the big hitters getting their chance. And Carcourt showing that she's the biggest hitter of them all. She's brought her A game today. Certainly milking the moment as well. Ebra Carcourt looking for a third Champions League trophy of her career. Block is in position, it deflects back to the baseline, saved overhead. Tipped over the top. Danesi. Tandem attack, far side. Carcassez delivers the body blow to Rivers with an apologetic hand raised. But Novara will take the 5-point lead. They've just been on a different level here on home court tonight. It's now a 4-point unanswered run for the home team. They've won 7 of the last 8 points. They've opened a 5-point gap before the midway point of this second set. Kirikala to serve. Rivers down the pipe, breaking the ankles of Carcourt. Crystal Rivers with a rasper. It's a long way down for Carcourt. The 197 opposite to try and dig it out from there. Simone Lee, the 26-year-old American, to take the serve. Had 9 points in the first leg, 8 of 19 attack hits for 42%. Against the double block from Segura. She'll come again here. Didn't get the best run up at it. Now Novara transition to offense. Karacourt to the baseline. Rivers turn beyond the baseline. Novara score and a 5-point lead again. It's hard to see where the momentum's going to shift in this match, but in this sport you never know. Segura. They've saved it. Carcasses from the far side near the advertising boards. Has to go over on the final touch though. Now they can orchestrate the offense. Segura will try and finish the job that she started, and she does. The captain's contribution for Stuttgart. Carcasses had to chase it off the floor. Rossetti just had to help it over. Novara had to brace themselves. Segura kept her concentration. And waterfalls inside the block. At that time it's the quick offense. Defenders right in front of her, but the quicker the attack is, the less tight they are to the net. Not able to penetrate those arms. Looping, swooping serve from Carcasses. Segura returns it with interest though. Bongart's Dutch setter to serve. Serve too long. Novara with comfortable breathing room as the lead continues to alternate between 4 and 5 points here in the second set. Remember, if they win this set, they win the tie. The match would continue, but by winning 2 sets, they would have 1 point tonight to add to the 3 that they got in Germany last week, with 4 total points in the tie. Stuttgart could only get up to 2 even if they came back to win this match in 5 sets, 3-2. 3 points for a 3 or 4 set win, 2 points for a 5 set win, 1 point for a 5 set defeat. Not giving up hope. Back-to-back scores to get back within 3. Open goal of a score for Simone Lee. Segura 6 aces across 6 previous games this season. Keeps her place on the baseline. She's been the one player stepping up for her team in this difficult second set. Karacourt got fingers off the blockers. Continues to do what she does. Well ahead of anybody else as the top scorer in this match. It was Carcasses with 24 points in the first leg, leading the way. Karacourt had 20. She's taking on the leading role here on home court tonight. Novara are steadily closing in. They've got their 5-point lead back. Score good for Christina Kirikella. Go to the benches for a timeout. back-to-back South American Club Championships with Minas, a silver at the Club World Championships with the Brazilians, and returned to Italy in 2019, now his third season back in Novara. His block is in the way, keeping it alive on the joust as well. Time for the set, the high hang, and able to get through the setting defense was Bossetti. Look, the defense had so much time to orchestrate off this long pass from Carcasses, but still Bossetti with the bullet through it. Caught wide of the mark on the line drive serve. Rare miscalculation from her. Lotte Cambi, number 2, the setter. Returned to the club this season, having been part of the 2017 Italian title-winning team as a youngster with Novara. It's a snap set and a score straight away. Anna Deresi, Cambi, who've just come in. Twisting back set, awkward landing. Jammed against the block, out of bounds. Rick Bongartz with the pass, putting a hitter against 2 blockers, so they got the break off the wall. Keller in, the 21-year-old, signed this season after impressing the last couple of seasons with Vilsbiburg. She won't remain on serve for very long. Well, he was named best server in the Bundesliga as a teenager 2 seasons ago. Casses behind that one, and then finishing it. Serve straight into the net. Frustrated Kiri Keller. Novara with significant safety net here in set 2, though, up by 5 points. Somebody's got to spark a run on serve for Stuttgart. Might it be Simone Lee? It's a good reception, right back on top of the net. And we get a pretty quick answer. Lee off serve. Novara by 6, only 4 points away from a place in the semi-finals. Through the hands of Schertzel. Battistoni, Novara setter to serve. 3rd season at the club. Into the net it goes from the 26-year-old. She's yet to lift a trophy with Novara, a series of silver and bronze medals the last couple of years, including bronze in this competition in 2021. It's floated too long. Speaking of not winning, perhaps trophies that are deserved, you look at Kenya Carcasses, the 37-year-old, aiming to win her first ever medal in this competition this season. Player who was the best outside hitter at back-to-back Club World Championships back in 2014 and 2015. She's been in Italy since 2018. Signed with Novara this season. Small stitch in a wide open wound from Vetzorka. One back for Stuttgart. They trail by 5 though, with Novara just 3 points away. Can And they keep hanging in there. That ball hangs in the air for a long time, but Rivers does plenty with it. I beg your pardon. Yeah, she gets it down the side of the double block. Close the gap to 3 here. This is where Stuttgart perhaps start to wonder. And so too does Stefano Lavarini on the Novara bench, because he calls timeout. Were in the driver's seat. Seemed impossible for Stuttgart. Now it still seems improbable. But they put themselves at least in the conversation here in set 2. Can they keep the run going? Can Novara stop it? Off the back of the timeout. Karacourt, delightfully done. Another for number 9. Over at Karacourt. Double 9 with another. Backcourt hit to the baseline from their other big weapon. Karacourt and Carcates have delivered all game long. This one's going to be challenged, I think, perhaps just so they can get a message across. Challenge rather in hope than expectancy. There's a series of set points and really a series here of tie points in this quarterfinal, because if Novara go up 2 sets to love, they win the tie. Rivers stopped, she reloads, it goes the other way, against the block, and Novara have done it. Kiri Keller, the captain, with the final decisive contribution. They win the second set, they win the quarterfinal. Fans on their feet in northern Italy, recognising the achievement. Even before the end of this match, their place in the final 4 of the Champions League sealed again. The blockers working superbly in tandem, right side, left side. Kiri Keller getting across, covering plenty of ground at the net and directing it delightfully. A 2-set-to-love lead for Novara. After losing the first set in this tie, they've now won 5 straight sets to guarantee their place in the semi-finals. To think this club didn't even get past the pool stage last season. They're getting back to their best this season. 25-18, they win the first. 25-19, they win the second. They win the quarterfinal tie, but they will hope to win this match in straight sets when we return. They've now taken 3 points from the 3-1 first leg last week in Germany. They've now guaranteed 1 point tonight by winning 2 sets, so 4 points across the whole of the tie. They can no longer be caught by Stuttgart, who would only get 2 points, even if they come back to win this match 3-2. 17-6 record level with third place Milano. although behind them by a few points. One win behind Scandici, 5 wins behind runaway leaders Conegliano. Conegliano at the top have a 22-1 record. Stuttgart will want to focus now as they bow out of this competition on their domestic achievements as well, because they're racing away at the top of the Bundesliga. A 17-1 record. In their domestic league, they're currently on a 14-match winning streak. Karakourt remains on a scoring streak here. She's not slowing down, despite the fact Novara's place in the semi-finals is sealed. She's determined to pad out her stat line. They did come into this tie, Stuttgart in fine form. They lost to Fenerbahce in their pool stage in this competition in mid-January, and then won 9 straight matches in all competitions before they lost the first leg of this quarterfinal 3-1 at home last week. And coach Faruk Feray feeling they should have done better in that. They did get back to winning ways with a straight sets league win at the weekend, but back to losing ways, it seems, against Novara again here tonight. Just meeting a higher caliber team from a higher caliber league. There's a reason that no German team has been past the quarterfinals in the modern era of the Champions League. Only one has ever won the European Cup, even stretching all the way back to its previous forms. Karakourt. That's what you get if you play with a big budget in a big league like Italy. Chance to sign foreign talents like the Turkish Ebru Karakourt. And too hot to handle for Koskelo. 15 points, I believe, now in the match for Karakourt. Casses with 10. Rivers leading the way with 9 for Stuttgart. It's a young German team in terms of the makeup of their roster. I mentioned earlier, most of their players 26 years of age or younger. It's also a young club. They were only founded in 2007. Their first German Cup within 4 years. 2 more in 2015 and 2017, and then a first Bundesliga championship in 2019, then their second title last season alongside their 4th cup, their first ever domestic double. They got within 1 win of a treble. Lost the CEV Cup final to Turkish side Eczacıbaşı. That was their first ever continental final. Rivers too long. So Novara up by 4, and it seems as though Stuttgart just want to get on the plane home. Only a 1-hour flight from Milan to Stuttgart. 6 to 6.5 hour drive. North through the Alps. Crystal Rivers up to double digits to lead Stuttgart. Novara back up to 4 though. Over at Karakourt, 15 points. A couple of aces, a block and 12 spikes. So another rasping serve. And she is not slowing down. 16 for Karakourt, a hat-trick of aces. A hard hit that was too hot to handle. Her momentum knocking herself down. And she picks herself back up with a huge smile ear to ear. Five the lead for Novara. We'll have a timeout here in the 3rd set. But Novara came here only averaging 1 ace a set in this competition. Stuttgart one of just 2 teams averaging 2 aces per set or more. So you have to admire Novara's serve receptions, but also I don't think Stuttgart have been at their best serving in this one. And Ebra Karacourt absolutely has, and her team, although she stopped this time as Rivers gets some of the points. Yeah, you go back to the coach calling for fight. It's hard to get motivated after the disappointment of being knocked out of the tie and having to continue to play. Even if it's not a conscious decision. Just difficult to find the full focus and fight that an elite sports person needs in these circumstances. Good hit. He's slicing the dice of the defense from the middle blocker, Schertzel. Converts her spikes with 51% success in this competition this season, as well as averaging 0.9 kill blocks a set. Of players to play more than 3 matches, she's only bettered by Novara's Anna Danexi. Danexi, the only player to average more than 1 kill block a set in this competition this season. Backcourt hit. Recovered long after the hit from Lee. She tried to backtrack to protect the baseline, left a hole in the centre of the defence. Novara will take it. There's the long recovery. She backtracks. There's a big gap between the first and the second line. Can be so calm and composed. Showing a bit of strength and depth here, Novara as well. Schertzel to serve. Spent last season here in Italy, actually, with Bergamo. Mary Schertzel, the German. It's the only year of her career that she spent outside of Germany. Kiri Keller. Serve reception right on top of the net. Allowed the opportunity for the high percentage attack. Between the arms. But one of those strength and depth players I was referring to, Giulia Ituma, 18-year-old Italian. Wearing the number 15 for Novara. She was signed this season. She was MVP when Italy won the under-19 Euros last year. For that, best scorer and best outside hitter at the under-18 World Championships the previous year. For the future, she's on serve now, Ituma. Decent serve, dropped in low. Long off the block. No touch though. It's just an errored hit from Kunzler. Long way off. And Stuttgart are a long way off Novara. Ituma will serve again. A big physical frame for an 18-year-old, already 191 tall. Danexi unable to stop that one, so for the gap, Kunzler, who served a team-high 8 aces this season, heading into this second leg, knocked the opponents back against the baseline. A couple of transitions in this rally, 3-meter line hit, too long, did it get a touch? Well, they're adamant it did, Novara. The official points the other way for now. I think it's going to be challenged here. They're looking for a block touch. Every single one of the Novara players was convinced straight away. You can often tell in the players' reactions like that. Let's see if the video concurs. Of course, again, we won't see that video, nor will they. Just have to wait and find out. We'll get the point. Tuma continues her run. Can't save that one in the backcourt though. Simone Lee the score. Part of the USA side that won the Nations League in 2019. Meter line hit, plenty of power on it. Back against the double block. They're falling over each other. Stuttgart trying to fight for it. The wind has completely gone out of their sails. They are going to check for a block touch here. As it stands, it's a 5-point edge at 14-19 to Novara as they look to take this second leg in straight sets. It's a club that was founded in Trecate in 1984. They moved up the Italian pyramid to reach the top tier Serie A1 in 2001. That's when they moved here to Novara. They had back-to-back top flight finishes, but they conceded their A1 license and moved back to Trecate before returning to the top tier again a decade later and moving back to Novara in 2013. And since then, it's been the most successful chapter of their history. Coppa Italia in 2015, a first ever league title in 2017, another Coppa in 2018 and in 2019 as well. And then of course, the same year that they won an historic first Champions League crown, lifting the trophy in this competition when they beat their Italian rivals Conegliano 3-1 in the final. Luisa Keller, a 21-year-old, on serve for Stuttgart. Really good serve as well, and she's going to get another go. Showing her tremendous young talents. I mentioned earlier she was best server in the Bundesliga as a teenager 2 seasons ago. Shank serve reception, back-to-back service points for Keller. Stuttgart still looking to bounce back in this set, not just this set, but this match. And they were watching on as if they're beaten, and they are in terms of the tie, but Novara certainly won't want this match going any longer than it needs to. I'm not sure Stuttgart will either, to be honest, but of course you don't want to lie down and just take the defeat. Young players making the most of their minutes. We heard coach Borik Ferai saying that Stuttgart don't get to play high-level matches like this. This is a huge part of the learning curve for those young players, and Keller has 3 straight points on serve now. Why not use this situation to educate and to mould and mature those young talents. And that's exactly what's happening here for Stuttgart. Can Keller keep it alive? She pokes it up. Her teammate Bongartz has to help it over. Bossetti long off the block to finally kill the run on the baseline of Keller. Novara just about keep their lead. We're way out in front in this third set before Keller's streak. Keller got them back within one, Stuttgart, but now they trail by 2. It's long, the reception helped over still. Bossetti into the back corner. It's got to go over from a long way back off the net, and it's good for the score. Not an easy technique and position whatsoever. But we know she's got that in her locker. Simone Lee to serve. Stuttgart hope to complete the comeback here in set 3. Good reception right on top of the net. Textbook perfect from Novara. One, 2, 3 score. Reception, set, spike. Past the blocker. Excellent recovery near sideline. Carcasses with power. Repelled though, long through both lines of defense. And it got a touch along the way. Stuttgart are making this third set entertaining now. It looked like they'd lost all hope. Marie Schertzel on serve next. Drops it low from a long way back. Against the block. Carcasses tips it over the top of the double block. The type of finish we saw a number of occasions in the first 2 sets from Caracol. 12 points for Carcasses tonight. Caracol leads the way with 16. Rivers leading Stuttgart with 12. Kiri Keller to serve. Goes again, has to help it over, and she can't even do that. Miscalculation from the veteran. We keep alternating between a 2 and 1 point lead now for Novara in this third set. We feel Stuttgart can complete the comeback to tie level. They've given themselves a psychological advantage in this set. Not going to do that here because again it's a perfect reception and finish. Anna Danesi. One-on-one with their opposite number, taking no prisoners high over the top of the net. So this is pivotal. If they can get up by 3, and they do, you feel that might be too steep a hill to climb now. Might evaporate all of that belief and momentum that Stuttgart were building. 19-16 could be the final set for Stuttgart in the competition this season. Being so good through the first 2 sets has allowed the likes of Julia Ituma to get first important minutes on court in the Champions League setting at the age of just 18. Shouldn't get any more time on the baseline. This club, Novara, was well known on the continental stage when they were based in Trecate, champions of the second tier CEV Cup in 2006 and 2009. They were third in this competition in 2008. They didn't reach the podium again, though, in the Champions League until 2019 when they won it. After COVID, they eventually lost their crown in the semi-finals in 2021. Conegliano getting revenge, having been beaten in the final 2 years earlier by Novara. Last season, a real blip going out of the group stage, but boy, have they bounced back in a big way this season. Winning their group, 5-1 record in Pool C. Ahead of Vakif Bank, Potsdam and Crvena Zvezda. Now about to officially win their quarterfinal. Well, Stuttgart would love to extend it, it seems. Simone Lee, the saw and the score. Zorka. Seen her serve well at times in this second leg. Big hit, Bossetti. Novara 4 points away from a straight sets win. It's been a bit up and down over the last couple of months for the Italians. At the end of January, they lost the Italian Cup semi-final to Conegliano. They won a couple of games after that and then lost at Bergamo in the league. They won at Vakif Bank in this competition, but then lost at Chieri in the league. A couple of domestic 5-set wins that followed. Lost to Conegliano a couple of weekends ago again, so 4 defeats in 9 ahead of the first leg. And again, weren't at their best perhaps in Germany in the first leg, despite winning 3-1 in Stuttgart. They did get a straight sets win in the league against Perugia on Sunday, and now I think we're seeing the best of Novara in the hope that they can continue that down the final stretch of the season in continental competition and indeed in the domestic league. Touch. All of those recent defeats have come on the road. They're about to win a 7th straight game here at home, a 10th win in 11 on home court. The only loss in that streak coming to Vakif Bank in the group stage of this competition in early January. Rivers up to 14 points, 52% on her attacks. Stuttgart trailing by 2, could do with an ace from her. It's well received and returned with interest to take Novara within 2 points of the straight sets win. Camby's back set. Kiri Keller past Simone Lee. Gonna have to chase it over the baseline. Costello hit back over, but they can set the offense up here. Tipped over the top into a hole. All scrambling. Nobody can receive it. And Novara are within touching distance of taking the tie with a straight sets win in the second set. Fans on their feet for the finish then. Match point Novara. They'll try and salvage it, digging deep on defense. Rossetti too long though. Stuttgart live to fight for another rally. 24-21. It's as close as Stuttgart have been in any of the 3 sets this evening. Looking for a block touch. If they find one, it's game, set and match. Fans will wait on their feet and continue to show their appreciation for the efforts of their team. Made it a rather early night for them. No block touch. So these paying supporters will get one more rally at least. Around 9:30 p.m. local time. Novara here in northern Italy. It has been short and it has been sweet from Novara as they take the second leg in straight sets and take their place back in the semi-finals of the CEV Champions League. A dominant display on home court tonight after they were made to work for a 3-1 first leg win in Germany last week. Here tonight, it was all about the Italians. At the top of their game for the opening 2 sets, by which winning guaranteed their place in the semi-finals. But they completed the job with a straight sets win, taking the third 25-21. Getting experienced players a breather on the bench. Younger players and role players more experience on court in a big game. They led in scoring by Ebrar Karakourt, who did all of her damage through those first 2 sets. As a look at the full match statistics, only 8 points separated these 2 teams last week, 17 tonight. Kenya Carcasses given the end of game honours. She had 13 points, a couple of aces and a block, only behind the 16 points of Karakourt for her team. The celebrations can really begin now. Novara join Vakif Bank in the semi-final lineup of the CEV Champions League Volley 2023. And I think the manner of the performance is what will please the coaching staff and perhaps these fans the most, because they haven't been at their best at times over the last couple of months. They certainly were tonight. And they will hope to build off that going forward now. A really important final stretch of the season. Find out tomorrow the other 2 teams in